Pombo and Milliken. Summer edition. Monday, 12 to 3. Talking baseball, basketball, and football with just a little soccer and MMA in the mix. WMLN 91.5, Milton, Boston.
And that's it. There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Wow.
Yes.
Look at what Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors did.
Done the impossible.
No, they did. We talked about it last week. Welcome, everyone. Pombo and Milliken. 3 weeks in a row. We're killing the game out here. We won't be back next week.
No.
My fault. But, sorry I let everyone down. But last time we talked, we had put our predictions out for the finals. You believe the Warriors in 7.
I thought the Warriors would win in 7, and I do think if Klay Thompson does not get hurt, they win in 7.
I had the Raptors, I believe, in 5. If I recall, I thought they were going to win that night.
Yep.
Almost did.
Almost, yeah.
But they got to Game 6 and they closed it down at Oracle. Let's just go over some of the big moments of the game. First off, the Kevin Durant injury.
Yes.
Him going down, playing 12 of 14 minutes to start Game 5. Immediately ends up at the perimeter getting ready, just, putting the moves on. You see something pop.
Yes.
Down in that right calf.
And down goes the Achilles.
Yes. It was pretty obvious right when it happened. Everyone was like, oh, there it is. You know, very rough scene. You saw actually Raptors fans cheering at first.
Yep.
Before Kyle Lowry and a couple different players on the Raptors were like, chill out. This ain't cool. Very tough moment. Nothing I don't think we expected. I'm pretty sure I said he was going to get hurt in the game.
I think you did.
So I'm
I don't know if you were serious
I'm
or
bad
not.
luck. I know, but the truth is, right? You look at a series where the Warriors have been outmatched consistently.
Yep.
No matter what, you put Kevin Durant in the game, the Warriors were playing out of their mind. They were shooting great. It was by far the best they've looked. Once you get that competitive advantage back and you feel momentum, it's so hard to lean off of that. Because, you're at the point where one loss and it's done. Mm-hmm. So Steve Kerr went and he rode that horse as far as it could go.
Didn't last too long.
No, it lasted you 12 minutes.
A quarter.
And he played great when he was on the court.
I think he had 12 points.
Yeah, it's just, unfortunately, you had a guy, Steve Kerr said after the game was a calf strain. Before, it was not any Achilles-related injury. I still don't believe that.
I don't believe it either.
We saw the ice. We know where it was, how this whole injury was handled. And then you're telling me just by coincidence the injury everyone thought he had happens 12 minutes in?
He had an Achilles strain or an Achilles sprain, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously wasn't recovered enough, and you're more inept to really tear that Achilles if you come back too early, and that's what happened.
Yeah, it was a non-contact injury too. Simply just...
Those are usually the worst.
Yeah, you could tell. And he went down. He knew it immediately. It wasn't even a conversation. Very tough situation, but I give, the Warriors credit. They still tried to play. They played through it. They won that game. Most of the times in a spot like that, you'd see chemistry drop down pretty quick, but that doesn't happen with dynasties.
Yeah. So, in terms of Klay Thompson, what do you think of that?
So Klay ended up going down Game 6. What was it? A couple minutes left in the third quarter.
Yep, tore his ACL.
Yep. Listen, I get a lot of people saying, freak injury, and I've seen the narrative, the Raptors lucked into this. A lot of people don't realize in that highlight, Danny Green went up against him. And the reason he came down awkwardly was because it was contested. Listen, by no means were the Raptors hoping people would get injured, but when you're playing a game like that where...
There's not that you can't control that.
No,
it just happens. Yeah,
and
it's
when
part
you're
of the
playing
game.
Physical basketball and
it's
it's
part
that
of the game.
competitive environment,
it's just unfortunate.
It's the effect.
It's unfortunate for Klay, Durant, and just the Warriors in general.
No, it is, and it's not. I don't give it just as luck to the Raptors. I don't see it that way. It's just unfortunate.
No, they earned it. Yeah, you can't take away championships.
Exactly. It'd be one thing if it was an uncontested shot and he got hurt. Whatever, freak accident, but. When you play hard defense, injuries happen, and it's what happened.
You're right.
I give all the credit. The Raptors deserve the credit here. Kawhi Leonard, no matter what, even though he didn't close down Game 6 like a lot of people would hope he would, still the Finals MVP. Only one person voted for Fred VanVleet.
It was Hubie Brown.
Yeah. I didn't really understand where that argument came from. VanVleet averaged 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 2
He was impactful
assists.
For sure, though. I think he was very valuable.
Yes.
He certainly wasn't the MVP of the finals, but he was a spark plug.
Without a doubt.
They needed him a lot. He was awesome.
Yeah,
he was
the
a factor.
defense he played on Steph Curry was huge down
He was
the
very
stretch.
consistent all series. Ever since the son was born, he all of a sudden
he turned it on.
I
I just think for the situation itself, you look at Fred VanVleet and you compare him to what Kawhi did, 28 points, 9 rebounds. rebounds, 4 rebounds, 9.8 rebounds, almost a double-double.
Yep.
He was the engine that pushed
Klay
this
Thompson
team.
was awesome. Without, I'm sorry, not Klay Thompson.
Kawhi.
Leonard. Without Kawhi Leonard, this doesn't happen.
No,
None of
without a doubt. And anyone trying to stir it in another way, Skip Bayless, trust me.
He doesn't even call him that. He calls him number two.
God, please stop. It's sad to see the way the Warriors did go down. Did you see the report after the game about what Steph Curry did? He
Yes.
punched the wall
Yes.
on his way to the showers.
He's unhappy.
Oh, Steph, listen, man. Max Kellerman had a really good joke. Did you see it?
What was it?
He said you should have just told him it was the fourth quarter and he went 1, 2, 3 and he would have missed.
Oh, good one. Good one. Good one. Clever.
Oh, poor
Clever.
Steph.
Steph wasn't 100% either.
No, we'll get into that in a second. But overall, for this Raptors team, for this finals, is it one you think is going to stick out for a long time?
Yeah, I think definitely, especially if things start to go south for the Warriors. It was the end of what could have been. And if Kawhi Leonard leaves, that could have been the last time Toronto's really relevant for a very long time.
Yeah. I agree. I think the Warriors, I think people are judging this dynasty being over very quickly.
I don't think it's over.
I agree with you.
Because they have a lot of moving pieces here. Klay Thompson is not going anywhere. He will be a Warrior. Kevin Durant, his status is up in the air. Andre Iguodala is a year older. I get that.
He did commit to coming back next year, though.
But the Western Conference and the NBA in general is wide open. There really is no unanimous favorite to come out of the West and really to win the finals whatsoever. So Klay's going to miss up until probably about April.
Yeah.
Durant is going to miss all of next year if he comes back. So who knows if they run it back again? I would be shocked if they weren't in the Western Conference Finals.
I still think, say Klay, you can get him 100% by the time the playoffs start.
And if Durant does in fact leave here, you have money to spend now where you can build some depth on your team.
It's one of the reasons the Warriors bench was known for being so deep pre-KD.
Yes.
So if that money can get dished out, I still think the Warriors are going to be right there near the top of the conversation.
Me too. The record might not be there in the regular season due to all these injuries, but when it comes to crunch time in the playoffs, they're going to be out there.
Exactly. We've seen without KD, if they have a year of kind of figuring out, getting back to used to the way they play, it's going to be a totally different system. I think for Klay, seeing him come out and make those 2 free throws, for all the talk that people want to say about him not making an all-NBA team, that's all you got to see.
He was awesome.
Dominating in the finals, goes out on a torn ACL and hits those 2 free throws before leaving the game. Wow. That's one of the toughest moments I've seen from an athlete. And it's happened before, we remember Kobe tore his Achilles and then went and took free throws.
Terrell Owens played a Super Bowl on a broken leg.
Yeah, crazy things, but...
The guy in the Bruins with a broken leg, Chris Kelly.
I don't know about a broken leg. I remember Patrice Bergeron with the punctured lung.
It was that,
But overall, it's just...
Oh, that's what it was. Kelly, he skated the rest of his shift with a broken leg.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember Stamkos broke his tibula or his fibula or whatever.
Chara
like something like
broken,
that. Tried to get up twice.
Broken jaw.
Broken jaw. Sat on the bench for the rest of the game with it broken.
Correct.
I believe. Yeah.
That's just a sneak preview of the Bruins talk coming later today.
Oh, yeah.
I told you they weren't going to win.
Actually, oh no.
We'll save the rage for then, right? So, Jason Pombo. Kyle Lowry was getting destroyed after Game 5 when Draymond did get fingers on his shot.
Watching the side of the backboard.
So I had thought they were going to win that night, and I was tweeting. I was like, Kawhi Leonard has ice in his veins when he was snapping, and then Kyle Lowry hits the shot behind the backboard. I'm like, you got to be kidding me with this trash. I felt really bad for him, but Draymond did get a hand on it, so that kind of took away. At this point, great Game 7 or Game 6 performance, played out of his mind.
Lowry is awesome. Yep.
Is he the greatest Raptor in Raptor history to you?
No.
In collective stats,
well,
will you give him that?
Collective stats, yeah. If Kawhi stays, I don't even. No, I'll take DeRozan.
There are people trying to say Kyle Lowry was the greatest Raptor of all
time. When were the Raptors established? Was it 1996?
Something like that. Listen,
Vince Carter was there for some years.
I appreciate everything Kyle Lowry's done. He seems like a great dude. Kawhi's one season overshadows his entire career. It's mean to say, but it's true. Do you disagree?
No.
And DeMar DeRozan, bro, they're clowning him too.
I've been thinking Lowry was overrated for a very long time.
Listen, he showed up, but he showed up because Kawhi took the pressure off his back.
Yes.
It's great, but for the most part, we know Kyle Lowry doesn't show up that often in the playoffs. But I give him, enjoy this. This is everything he's waited for. People can't clown him as hard as they did.
No.
But Steph Curry. So
he's getting clowned.
Yes, I think he should be. Honestly, do you see why now I didn't have him in my top 3 players?
Yeah, I get it. But I think with all things being equal, coming fresh next season, I think he's going to be an MVP candidate.
No, I agree with you.
He might be my MVP pick.
And I think that's very fair. We saw last time it was KD was out of the picture. Now you got Clay out of the picture. It's an even different situation.
He's going to be dropping 35 a game.
His usage is going to be ridiculous. I just think for Steph, we saw this series how limited he is. He can't take over a postseason game like a Kawhi Leonard, like a KD, like a LeBron James. All right, so let's do this lesson here, right?
Okay.
Think of LeBron. We got multiple clutch moments in the postseason. Big shots, game-winning shots.
Yep. Yeah, Steph's, I think, 0 for 8.
Yep. Yes. 0 for 9, I believe.
0 for 9
now. You got Kawhi Leonard, right?
Yep.
You know, the Game 7 winner against Philly this year.
Course, yep.
Past postseason, 2-time Finals MVP. KD, 2 times, or he's won 2 Finals MVPs before this year, back-to-back. The famous shot in front of LeBron.
Yes.
Steph Curry doesn't have that shot.
Yeah, he does not yet.
And he had that chance.
I didn't know he did.
It was a fair shot.
He's going to get one.
I hope so, because we have the regular season ones, but we don't have the postseason
Not
ones.
yet, nope.
And I can't put him in that elite category because he had a good look there.
He did. He had the look.
And he bricked it.
I thought it was. I thought the inbound play was awful when it started.
It was sloppy,
I
but
was
they
like,
got lucky.
Oh my god! I thought the ball was going out of bounds. I was like, oh crap!
It's just Steph in the biggest moments for some reason. I don't know if it's the nervousness. We remember the awful, when the Cavs came back from 3-1, the awful behind the back pass in Game 7. Pass it right to the Cavs. You look at even this series. Steph shot 43% from 3 in the second.
Yeah,
in the third quarter, it was 42. In the third, it was 32.
This was not his best finals by any stretch.
No, he was worse as the game went on. And don't get me wrong, you could tell he was exhausted. He had a hard workload.
He's the only star that didn't
fall apart. Well,
physically anyway.
This series told me he just, for some reason, that big moment, unless there's someone else on that court there, he looks like he comes up small every time.
You might be right.
I
mean, that's that 0 for 9. It sticks out.
You can't hide it. You know what I mean? Like LeBron, great statistics in clutch moments.
So do you think he could be a number 1 on a championship team?
No.
You don't?
Nope.
I still think he can. If everything comes together correctly, I think he can.
It said something to me that Klay Thompson took the reins. I think that speaks more to just...
Well, Klay was shooting very well.
Yeah.
He had a good series.
Overall, and when Klay was healthy, we saw who was taking over late in that game. It was him. It wasn't Steph Curry. And Klay Thompson has done that a lot throughout his career. We know his the Game 6 stories of Klay Thompson always coming through clutch.
Mr. Game 6 is what they call him.
Yeah. It's just there's a reason he tends to take over in those games. There's not that. I think Steph Curry could. It's just more mental than anything. He's made that shot, that one he missed at the end of Game 6, he's made it 1,000 times.
Oh, millions. I'm expecting a big bounce back from him.
I think it will be their regular season, but in the playoffs, I'm not so sure about that, honestly. Is he still in your top 3?
He's in my top 5.
I think that's fair. Same here. What is it, 107? Let's take a little break here. When we come back, we'll talk some of the Anthony Davis stuff, some more free agency, what we think is going to happen with Kawhi, so you're not going to want to go anywhere.
Thank you for listening to Pombo and Milliken on YouTube. Don't forget, every episode airs live on the WMLN app. Just search WMLN in your Apple or Google Play Store.
All right, we're back. So, a lot of the talk, we saw Kawhi throughout the finals, kind of nursing his previous injury.
Yes.
Struggling with tendonitis in the other leg due to, favoring it. Do you believe Kawhi this entire time was actually injured? Do you believe that story?
Towards the end, I do.
But dating back to the Spurs, have you believed this entire process? This was like
just in general.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think a lot of it was just.
It gave some validity to the situation.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it was, I think, not as bad as it was portrayed to be. But looking back on a lot of teams that passed on him in hindsight, it's rough.
See, the thing is, I don't know if Kawhi went to another team if he would have been able to do the load management he did. And I think, honestly, he's setting a trend now. I think load management's going to be way worse than people have complained for the previous couple of years.
I've been hearing the NBA might alter their schedule to limit back-to-backs. So if they
82
do that,
games is stupid to me.
You don't like 82?
I think it should be like 60.
I like 82 if you space them out a bit.
I get that.
Because there's nights where they play
doesn't
3
the
and
season
5
feel
games.
so long as it is?
I like it, but I'm a basketball guy.
I get that. But same here, I would say 162 game season for baseball's right. Most people are like, what are you talking about? I don't know. I feel like as maybe a more casual basketball fan.
So Kawhi played 60 games this year.
Yeah, there we go. There's a weird number to put it right up with it.
So he missed 22.
Yeah, I just think with the amount of games you see, LeBron for years now has been taking a couple weeks off in the middle of seasons. This was the first year he actually got hurt, but we remember the 2 weeks before when he first came to Cleveland, he just took 2 weeks out. He was like, I need to kind of reset my mind, give me that breather. I just don't think NBA players today feel right with the 82 game schedule. They're not playing it, so why put it out there? Is it worth it just to have those games to watch?
Yeah, well, it's the whole product in general. A lot of it's money and marketing.
And with like TV issues and different stuff like that.
TV contracts,
I feel like at this point, just with the NBA, those waste games are taking it down and making the regular season seem like it truly
and
does
it doesn't,
mean nothing.
I mean, it doesn't help that you have some teams tanking. So if you're an aging superstar and you're playing on a Wednesday night against the Phoenix Suns, who are 2-8 in their last 10 games, and you're like, my hamstring's kind of bothering me. I'm not going to risk it. Screw it. I'm going to sit.
Well, this mindset has always come originally from the Spurs. Yeah. Everyone used to complain to Pop. He would rest Tim Duncan and everyone all season.
They're the creators of it, yes.
Yeah. So I think you could get around that entire issue and have more competitive basketball. I think that's the biggest issue surrounding the NBA right now. It doesn't feel competitive until, honestly, the second round of the playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Next year's NBA is going to be the most competitive NBA we've seen in 40 years.
And that's because the Warriors dynasty, KD, no matter what, won't be playing. Yep. And the Warriors will be down a leg. It's just, overall, I feel like right now there's too many games. I think you're just getting a lot of games in the regular season that nobody cares for.
I mean, you could say the same thing about every other sport, though.
You can. And I think that's the reason. You look at hockey, there's been talk about the injuries and, is it really worth it to play as many games as they do? Baseball, people are saying in the next collective bargaining agreement, they're going to lessen their season. Yeah. I think it's going to be a trend you're going to see throughout the sport. Just because at the end of the day, as much as it's great to have quantity, quality will always be what uplifts the sport. And you know who does it best? The NFL.
Yeah, well, the NFL wants to expand, actually.
To 18 games. Go to 18. But still, you look at 18 games, and a lot of players aren't in favor of it. Yeah. Still, it completely destroys the idea of anything like an 82 game
If I had to guess,
season.
I think the NBA alters the schedule again. I think 82 will be here for a while.
So how do you think it will change overall?
I think they're going to limit back-to-backs. I think it's going to be a thing where you only play back-to-backs like once or twice a month.
Interesting.
Because they have limited it in the past, and I think they're going to limit it even more.
I don't know. I just feel like you're going to see a big push from players themselves to get away from it. Just because so many players they complain about the schedule as it is now, But with Kawhi, right? Do you think he's staying in Toronto after winning this finals? They're having their parade as we speak.
I think there's a 60% chance he stays.
I agree.
I think he will consider the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Warriors.
Interesting. You think he'll consider the Warriors?
He is.
Yeah. I don't know. I think overall for the Warriors,
the Knicks might get a pity meeting.
Yeah. I think overall for Kawhi, if he were to join a super team, it feels like it would be so off-brand at this point. Maybe you can talk yourself into the Lakers just from where they are. I don't think he goes to the Warriors. It would be... You think the Kevin Durant stuff was bad? You're taking the guy who just beat you in the finals.
Yeah. Oh, that's who I think he's going to meet with.
I think maybe he'd be open to a convo, but I don't think it'd be anything different than just what's up. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I can't imagine Kawhi going there. Can you?
Well, he's considering it, but I think it's going to be Clippers or Toronto are the top two.
Yeah, that seems like the right kind of spot to be in. I can't imagine him going into the Warriors and feeling like this is the right step. It feels like at that point we're right back to where we were with Kevin Durant. And as Kawhi has shown, he disagreed with that idea.
But the only issue with Kawhi is I don't think he gives a crap.
No, but I think he cares about being on a team where he's not carrying his load. I think we saw it with the Spurs at times. We saw how the veterans reacted when he was dealing with his injury. Yeah. I don't think he's interested.
If I had to guess, I say he stays in Toronto. And I think the Clippers are probably right there too.
Someone who's not staying where they're going, Anthony Davis. Bro, if you want to hit us with this clip real quick.
The Pelicans have agreed to finally trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers. Now, here's the compensation package. Everybody's wondering, what would they give up? Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. Remember, Ingram has the blood clots in his arm, so that's an issue. Josh Hart and 3 first-round picks, including the number 4 overall pick in the 2019 draft.
That doesn't include the swap picks.
The swap picks, that we later found out.
Yes. And, reports are still coming about all of it. The deal hasn't
been officially leaked, and there's a lot of cap implications that are still being dealt with. So the deal isn't official yet, I believe.
There's talks it could move into a 3-team deal depending on what happens with the 4th overall pick.
A lot of things getting screwy.
But overall, winners and losers, immediate reaction.
So right now this deal is a lot of moving parts here. I could see both sides having an angle on it. I think the Lakers could walk away from this deal and feel like, well, you know what? Brandon Ingram has blood clots in his arms. That's bad. Lonzo Ball, we don't trust him. He's not
played
durable.
Half the games he was supposed to.
He's a mess in the media with his father, this and that. We don't want him. And Josh Hart, he's overrated. He's actually not that good either.
Best moments in the summer league.
But the Pelicans could spin it as, we got all these picks. Lonzo Ball hasn't touched his ceiling yet. Brandon Ingram has had his best year of his career last year, and Josh Hart, the best is yet to come.
It's funny.
So you could spin it either way.
It's funny. You look at, leading up to this Anthony Davis rumors, even into the season, everyone clowned the Lakers package. They said, who wants Brandon Ingram and his blood clots?
A lot of people didn't want Brandon Ingram.
No, they considered him a safety hazard. Who would want Lonzo Ball? People were treating him like he was a meme when, in all reality, he's become one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. It's really not a conversation on that end. And we saw, just playing with LeBron, when he got comfortable, he looked really good. But people wanted to say, he's a joke, can't shoot, same boring narrative. And everyone was like, oh, well, they're going to have to give up Kyle Kuzma too. I think if I'm the Lakers here, listen, both sides had an angle and way they want to carry forward. The Pelicans, after failing with Anthony Davis, what did they do with Anthony Davis? Instead of getting picks before, they traded them all and surrounded them with average veterans. This time around, they have Zion, a new star coming to them.
Yeah.
They want picks. They're going the Danny Ainge Celtics method. Let's rack them up. Let's get assets. You can always use them later on, and we have time. The Lakers, they've been drafting. They had the number 2 overall pick 3 years in a row from 2015 to 2017, from D'Angelo Russell to Brandon Ingram to Lonzo Ball. They, even their best picks were later. They weren't even their top
Kyle
picks.
Kuzma, Josh Hart. List goes on.
It's just, you look at the situation, the Lakers have realized they can't win through the draft. It's just not working.
Now, the Lakers, the next thing has to do is they need to put the right role players around LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Some
and
actual
Kuzma.
shooters.
Yeah, some
play
actual
defense.
Yeah, so last year they did not do a good job of that. Rondo didn't work out. Caldwell Pope did not work out.
Bill McGee.
Beasley, the whole list.
No, it was a bunch of ragtag veterans, and they didn't really mesh at all.
Yeah.
I think right now, for where both teams want to be, they both got what they wanted.
I think they're
so
both
it's a
in
win.
good standings.
Yeah, it's a win to both of them. Long term, it could be crippling to the Lakers.
Yeah, long term, it has more implications towards the Lakers being in trouble, because if Davis leaves, then they're in trouble. LeBron's age shows. Let's say he gets hurt this year, they're in a lot of trouble. The Pelicans, if Brandon Ingram doesn't really recover from his blood clots, you still have those picks. Even if the players don't necessarily work out, you still have those picks.
Team control and picks. Two things that, and young stars that who have shown they kind of like to be around other young players.
And now you have the 4th overall pick of the draft, which can be an asset going forward.
Yeah, whether they go
keep it or trade it. Yeah,
we've heard them attach to some names. We've also heard they want to move it for a younger veteran. Overall, I think both sides got what they wanted, and that's a win for them for now. You never know how a deal is going to play out long term. We know even when the Celtics and the Brooklyn trade happened involving Paul Pierce and everyone, there were a lot of people at the time saying Brooklyn won.
Yeah.
All the superstars.
They had a super team. Their starting 5. Well, Darren Williams was an all-star. Joe Johnson, Pierce, KG, and Brook Lopez.
And look, that trade turned out
Jason
to be one
Terry,
of the worst people considered ever. It's just, you got to see how these things play out. I think for the Lakers, the way they see it, whether LeBron's here 3 or 4 more years, no matter what, Anthony Davis is 26.
Yeah, he's 26. And Kyle Kuzma, who they were able to keep, is 23.
Yeah, that's crazy. You immediately have a 26-year-old guy in Anthony Davis, who some people this year were saying could be the best player in the NBA.
He's arguably a top 5 talent in the league.
Yeah. It's always been a conversation. He doesn't have the postseason moments, but to pair the 2 top guys you wanted in back-to-back off seasons, that's a win.
Yeah, that's
no
a win.
matter what way you want to put it.
Now you got to keep him there.
Exactly, and that will be the challenge. What worries me the most is Anthony Davis's health. He's known as a guy, number one, who's not very tough.
Not durable.
No, he falls apart and he doesn't like to play hurt.
Correct.
With LeBron, I don't know how great that's going to go over, so they need other pieces.
A lot of people are comping this to when Dwight Howard went to L.A.
Yeah, I think Dwight Howard, as much as people, he was a great player in his day. We know the defensive statistics. He's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. He never touched the Anthony Davis ceiling. Nowhere. This Anthony Davis had multiple 40 and 50-point games last year. With Dwight Howard.
In the terms of leaving, though, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I understand that. I think
the fan base gets on him because he was hated.
But Dwight Howard was always known as that sensitive dude. And LeBron, unlike Kobe's the opposite, where LeBron pretty welcoming to other stars. Kobe didn't really like any other stars except Paul Gasol.
Let's see if it works out here for them, because they need to get the role players right or it won't work.
Yeah. So looking at their cap right now, they got $23.7 million. That number could change depending on if Anthony Davis
when the
takes
trade goes through and stuff.
Yeah,
it's
that
a
is
4.1 trade, whatever it's called.
It's a trade clause. If he gets dealt, it's a $4.1 million bonus. If they wait until July 30th to finalize the deal, it moves up to $32.5 million.
But then the thing is, what superstar wants to wait until July 31st?
And on top of that, who wants to risk that 4th overall pick, having to miss all of the summer league and be announced that later on? It's not a great situation, and the Pelicans don't seem too interested in waiting. So it looks like that $23.7 million is going to be where they rock.
So they can look for guys that won't necessarily hit the max, guys like Al Horford, guys like Chris Middleton, guys that fit that mold.
Yeah, they could go J.J. Redick.
J.J. Redick.
Danny Green.
Danny Green.
There's a bunch of names.
Or they could fill it out with 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, I think that's the best route at this point. Take a lesson from this finals. You saw Kawhi. You have a number 2 in Anthony Davis there. You have another superstar.
You could argue a 3 with Kuzma.
Yeah, exactly. Build around it. Give yourself the depth you need in case injuries pop up to get you through this season. I don't see pushing everything forward, somehow pulling out the money to perform a max, or even taking on a Kemba for slightly less money.
Kemba's not interested in going anyway, but if somehow you convinced him to get there, your bench is going to be very, very paper thin.
You see the Lakers.
Paper thin.
I think everyone heard Kemba say his heart's in Charlotte.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Everyone thinks they're going to be able to talk him out of it.
He's not going anywhere.
I agree with you there. He's going to get the 5-year, the full max, make your money.
He's not going anywhere.
Go fight for that 8th seed in the East for years to come.
Yes.
But I think for the Lakers, just take a lesson, learn from them. You can win with a complete team, especially in this NBA with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, the NBA is wide open. You don't necessarily need that 3rd star.
No, there's
the
no
NBA has
reason.
changed.
And if you wanted Kyle Kuzma this bad, you kept him out of the deal and offered all those future assets, he should be the 3rd star you were
exactly,
hoping for.
because you're telling your fans, you're telling him you believe in him.
Exactly. With Kawhi possibly going there, do you think that will even be worth it? Even a convo similar to the Warriors in that situation? Do you think he's going to really give much thought to it?
Yeah, I think he does.
I do too. I think the Lakers have a better shot than the Warriors, honestly.
Yeah.
Just from the fact we know how much he loves.
And his cousin, do you see the video on, I think it was Instagram?
If anyone has the excuse to go to a super team in a state like that, I think the Warriors-Raptors thing where they just beat them, it doesn't work too well. But a Lakers team like that joining a super team, he won it on his own.
He loves California. He's from the area, so
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know. I hope that would be ridiculous. I don't see it matching too well. Does this change the narrative surrounding the Lakers for you?
Well, the dysfunction still could be there, depending on how they...
I think this wipes most 90% of it.
It wipes a lot of it out, but depending on how they do for the rest of their roster, is going to be pretty big. Everyone forgets here they have Frank Vogel and then Jason Kidd looming over his shoulder. How's that going to go? There's still some unanswered questions. Yeah,
I think for the Lakers right now, no matter what, the headline heading into the season isn't going to be about, will the how is this organization, who's making the moves?
It's changed, yeah.
It's going to be...
It's Pelinka,
I can tell you the Sports Illustrated cover right now for the NBA preview.
What is it?
It's Davis, LeBron, and whatever couple guys, or maybe somehow they pull off one guy.
Yeah.
That's going to be it, And they have that whole kind of image going forward. It's going to be about, can LeBron get these last rings in the final years? Can Anthony Davis make that next jump? It's not about Magic getting booted out. It's not about who's really making the calls. It's just the Lakers are back.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Now, when the season starts and stuff, we'll see where everything goes.
Especially as,
in terms of preseason, I think they're going to be the favorites unless things change.
They are to a lot of sports books right now.
Yeah, right now they are. They're my favorite right now, but again, the offseason is not even barely been born here.
So, the biggest loser a lot of people are calling in this entire situation is the Boston Celtics. Jason is our native Celtics fanboy, Kyrie Irving lover. Listen, Jason, how you feeling? Are you worried? Because I honestly, I don't think it's as bleak as people want to put it.
Well, it sucks. I think the Celtics had a real interest in him, and the Lakers picks were way too far than the Celtics wanted to go, and I wouldn't have went that far either. No. So I think at that point you build around Tatum. You look to see who else become available. Karl Anthony Towns is a guy that's been talked about for a lot. So
yeah, it feels like Karl Anthony Towns has started to fill that Anthony Davis role in recent years, where people are hoping for that to just come through. I think for the Celtics, they were listening. When Rich Paul said what he said, at that point, I think you had to take a step back. I think the Celtics kept their interest out there.
I think so too.
Because the Lakers were going to keep bidding. They didn't have a choice. It was this or nothing.
But if I were the Celtics, I wouldn't have.
No.
Apparently they wanted Tatum and Brown.
That's crazy.
That's a no-go
for
me.
A guy who's not going to stay.
I would have had trouble giving up Tatum.
Yeah.
Never mind both.
And, some rumors are coming out today that Tatum was there, but, who knows? I think Danny made the right move here. You have young assets. If you truly believe in the picks you've made, and Danny has shown the ability to make the right picks.
No, the future is absolutely not bleak, because if you look at it here, if Kawhi does in fact leave and head to the West, the Eastern Conference is wide open again.
Yeah, without a doubt. And people may want to go talk to Philly. We have no idea where Jimmy Butler's going.
Jimmy Butler,
JJ Redick's going to be leaving.
Redick's on the way out. Tobias Harris is on the way out. Milwaukee, is Middleton on the way out? There's a lot of unanswered questions.
I think they're going to end up bringing Middleton back in Milwaukee, but
I don't think so.
Oh, really? Where do you think he's going?
I think the Lakers are going to have some real interest in him.
I don't think he fits exactly what they're needing.
I think the Clippers going to have a lot of interest in him.
I think they need someone who can.
He's going to be a hot commodity for guys that strike out.
Yeah,
the Knicks.
I think for Middleton right now, if they're looking, there's a reason. He's great with the 3-point shot. Don't get me wrong, and he can do a lot of things, and he's developed greatly. But we've seen with Akemba, he doesn't have as much playmaking ability. What they're kind of looking for, that Kyrie Irving kind of concept. I think for Middleton, him and Giannis, if the Bucks want to stay competitive, they need Middleton. There's not really a conversation there. I think they're getting ready, geared up for it.
They paid Brogdon already, so I don't know if that speaks anything.
I don't know. Most rumors seem to put Middleton back there, but
Dallas is another team that's really high on him.
Yeah, Dallas could be a team that sneaks in someone young. I think for right now with the Celtics team and with moving forward, if I'm them, why not just fully commit to everything you have in front of you and just play it out? Worst comes to worst. If it blows up and it doesn't work, okay.
Well, you listen to offers regardless. You see, superstars become available at any time. Right now, it could be Karl Anthony Towns. James Harden's a guy to keep an eye on for sure because Houston's in an interesting spot
the
here.
Landscape's changing.
How's Harden feeling? That's a guy to keep an eye on. Just other guys pop up every year.
And you look at the Celtics team, people act like they're not going to make the playoffs. I still think they're going to be a 4th or 5th seed.
Yeah.
You got Marcus Smart for now leading the point. He's still the heart and soul of this team. We all know that. Depth-wise, not exactly where you'd hope you'd be.
They do have 3 first-round picks.
Exactly. So you see what you pull out of there. I know some people talked about Tyler Herro.
Yep, that's my guy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little later for the NBA draft. But the Celtics could look very different. And if you don't think Danny has a move or two up his sleeve, you don't know who Danny Ainge is.
Yeah, I'm not panicking by any stretch yet. I think everything's on the table. Every single...
Horford, there's a very real chance. Talk is he's restructuring a deal right now, or not restructuring, but talking towards a 3-year deal.
Even if he left, you're still okay because then it frees up a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you're able to get a guy like D'Angelo Russell.
In the Celtics organization, people act like it's not something that can sell someone enough.
Yeah.
You're playing for the Boston Celtics, the second biggest franchise in NBA history.
Yep.
But if you were to expect Al Horford and his player options coming up this week, do you think he ends up opting in or?
He's going to opt out. So he's either A, going to restructure, or B, he's going to move on. I think the Lakers have interest in him. The Warriors have interest in him. I think he'd be interested to go home to Atlanta. He's gonna weigh out a lot of his options.
I
Playing
know
for Doc Rivers with the Clippers, another one.
I know some people had hoped, maybe he'd cling on to the money and just rock that way. He's looking for security here. It's pretty obvious. Security and a chance to win. If he sees that with the Celtics,
I wouldn't. Or Houston's another team if you could work in a Capella trade. I wouldn't be upset either way, whatever it happens with him. I'd be okay if he stayed, and I'd be okay if he left.
I think he'd go a long way towards the development of guys like Tatum and Brown.
Might be.
Kind of moving into starting roles.
At that point, I'm looking for Tatum and Brown to... They've been babied enough. I'm ready for them to take a step forward.
Do you have faith in them both just coming out and
Tatum,
having that control?
I do for Tatum.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't for Brown?
Not yet. I know Brown was awesome this postseason. I've been real critical of him, but maybe he can turn a corner.
Yeah.
I got to see it in a long stretch.
It's just, even if one of those guys turns into be a star,
Yeah,
say it is Tatum, that's all it takes.
Yeah, you just need one, because then he can draw another one and do whatever else.
And in the East right now, with how
Again,
it's even
wide
looking
open.
long term.
The Knicks look like they're not going to be a problem. If the Brooklyn Nets do end up with Kyrie, I still don't think they're an issue.
Nope. Speaking of Kyrie, him switching his agent to Rock Nation.
Yep, Jay-Z.
Yep. We know the connections prior for Jay-Z. Used to have ownership in
there's 2 connections
Brooklyn.
with that. One, the Brooklyn connection, obviously, and 2, he's also Kevin Durant's agent.
So Kevin Durant's agent left Rock Nation, though, correct?
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that.
So he left Rock Nation. He handles KD exclusively at this point.
But he's from Rock Nation,
yes,
right?
so there's still the initial connection there. But yeah, I don't know. I think Kyrie, rumors keep saying he's destined for Brooklyn. I believe it. You're giving up D'Angelo Russell. I don't think you're moving that far up the totem pole.
So he's still listed under Rock Nation's thing.
On the
right?
website, yeah. I was reading into it a little bit, but he's still very close. It wasn't anything personal. Yeah. It's just KD as a brand was big enough to carry its own weight.
Yeah. So I think Brooklyn's the favorite. Knicks are still in there. Boston's still in there. I still don't think the Lakers are an option.
Where do you think KD's going? I don't think he's teaming up with Kyrie.
You don't? I don't either. I think KD's going to stay in Golden State.
Do you? I think for KD, it would be very hard to convince yourself to go somewhere by yourself. It's not going to be the Knicks.
And he's not playing next year.
No, he's missing the entire season. It's a ruptured Achilles. My guess is I think there's a very real chance.
Clippers, another one.
I'm liking the Clippers, him and Kawhi. I think that's a real possibility. It would be Kawhi and KD versus LeBron and AD.
That would be cool.
Right? Yeah. It'd be an interesting conversation. Kawhi could go and he knows how to handle the team on his own.
I think he's too big for Brooklyn. I don't think he wants to go to the Knicks alone.
No.
And I can't see a real sleeper. I don't know.
I don't think KD at this point, with as much as the Warriors, we saw how they came together at the end with the injuries. I think the writing has been on the wall for the most part that they're Clay and Steph are the priorities. I think KD's looking to be a priority somewhere. Clippers could be that, and I think him and Kawhi.
You see, if the injury I think this injury really hurt. He's going to step back. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what he does.
It says a lot depending on where he signs.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to look. If he signs with the Warriors, there's real concern he may never be KD again.
And I don't know if he ever will be.
No, we've seen plenty of players come from Achilles and not be okay. I think he's going to bet on himself. He's always bet on himself as that guy. I could see him going to another place. If you have Kawhi and the Clippers alone for a year, you can excuse it. You look at it. A lot of people have compared this Clippers cast to the Toronto cast in a lot of ways.
Maybe, yeah. Everyone's in love with this Clippers.
If it's Kawhi out there a year alone while KD's getting better,
yeah, maybe.
You could get by. It's still a very competitive team.
Maybe. This injury puts a thorn in this whole offseason, though, because now everyone's going to wait for the big domino to fall, which is Durant.
Exactly. His decision will impact everybody else who's still sitting on the market. I think for KD, I hope he goes for that challenge for his legacy.
I hope so too. I think it would be really cool for the NBA, really cool for him to head to the Clippers, face the Lakers, LA versus LA, Durant versus LeBron clashing again. That would be awesome to see.
Exactly. So, Jason, NBA draft on Thursday?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
How you feeling? What are your expectations for the Celtics with their 3 picks?
So with the Celtics here, I expect them to move at least one, maybe 2 of them. They don't know if they have the roster space to keep all 3. I think it might be a drafting stash kind of guy draft an international guy and send him overseas. That could be one of them. You mentioned it earlier. I really like that Harrow kid from Kentucky. He's awesome.
I don't think I've seen a Celtics player scream it so much. For people who don't have a great feel for him, last year at Kansas, he averaged 14 points per game. He shot 35% from the 3, 93% from the free throw line. That 93% from the free throw line is usually a pretty good idea of how good of a shooter someone is.
He's awesome. He's good. I like Colby White from North Carolina. If he falls, Cam Reddish, he's up in the air. I think he'll be picked before 14, but he's got to keep an eye on.
His stock's been up and down like crazy.
Yeah.
I think also for Harrow, you look at it, reports are he was the one who stood out amongst all the workouts for the Celtics, making 80 out of 100 threes.
Yeah, he's awesome.
The motor, it seems very Brad Stevens. The fight, you watch him on the court, high energy. It would be a blast to watch him work off of Tatum, watch him work off of Brown.
Bol is another one from Oregon. He's another guy.
Arguably the most interesting prospect.
Because I've seen him, in this mock draft I'm looking at right now from Sports Illustrated, he has him at 23. I've seen him up to 10.
Same here, between 10 and 30. Some people believe he's destined to fail in the NBA because of his body, how skinny he is.
He's battling an injury right now.
Foot injury, right?
Yeah, he missed all of last season.
Yeah. He only played 9 games.
He got hurt, yeah. That was it.
He was very good in those 9 games, but the competition wasn't anything special. But you have, how tall is he? 7 what? 6?
5, 6.
Yeah, something like that. He can knock anything down from 3. Obviously, with that height, you can do a lot in the post, but he doesn't move super well.
This means he was invited to the NBA draft green room.
Wow, so that says something within
itself. So they
itself.
expect him to be picked in that lottery range.
Someone's going to take a chance on him. I don't know who will be or in what part of the draft in that 10 to 30, but I would be stunned
if Harrow's not there, I'd go with him. If I'm the Celtics.
I agree.
Yeah.
Go high. I know it kind of contradicts your pick from last year a little bit.
I love Rob Williams too. I think he's a piece you can really build with, not in terms of like a franchise altering talent, but he's a guy that fell in the draft like 15 spots.
And you see a talent level that high, the lineage as well. It's hard not to take a bet on that.
Why not?
If you have the coaching staff,
screw it. What if Horford leaves too?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can build something special here.
Even though we should know more about Horford's future before Thursday, because tomorrow's the day he has to decide on this option.
Yeah. And I think if you're looking for a guy who fits the modern NBA, Bol is that. He shows the ability to shoot the 3.
Yeah.
He's not going to be limited to the post. It just will turn out to what he can make that body develop into.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a little break here. When we come back, we got some MLB talk, some football stuff, and then questions later, so you're not going to want to go anywhere.
Thank you for listening to Pombo and Milliken on YouTube. Don't forget, every episode airs live on the WMLN app. Just search WMLN in your Apple or Google Play Store.
All of a sudden, you're coming up, bases juice, tie ball game, bottom of the 9th, nobody out. You could be a hero.
Marco Hernandez, the winning run at third. Jackie Bradley at second. And Chavez at first.
Infield in, outfield in. And he walked him. And here comes Hernandez racing home, and the Red Sox win it. Mookie Betts a bases-loaded walk to force in a run, and the Red Sox beat Texas 4-3, sending some outstanding momentum over to the Garden for Game 7.
Okay, that was the start of some positivity coming back.
I guess not enough momentum for Game 7.
So prior to that win happened on Wednesday, if I recall correctly.
Yep, because that's when the Bruins lost.
Yeah. The Red Sox had lost 5 out of 6 before that game. They've now won 5 straight.
Correct.
This Red Sox team makes no sense as usual.
I mean, you played Baltimore 3 times, so I don't know how much you can take away from that.
The positive side is the Red Sox
should be beating that team.
Right now have the best record they've had all year. They're 5 games over 400. A good representation of this team is they've been 4 games over 500 4 different times this year. So this is the first time they finally broke that level. On top of it, everyone's hitting just about.
Just about.
There was no hitting for a pretty good portion of that bad stretch there before, but even though it is the Orioles, it feels good to see guys starting to make contact again.
Yeah.
One of those guys, Jackie Bradley Jr. Just here, hold on. I'll give you an idea what this past month is. So the last 30 games, right? JBJ's been hitting 283, 372 with 7 jacks.
Is this gonna last?
I don't know. Last 15 games, he's hitting 271 with 3 jacks. Last 7 games, 357 with 2 home runs. Not bad. It's a pretty consistent. A month at 283.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still never going to buy into this guy, ever.
The line for the year is up to 211, 307.
I'm glad to see he's above 210.
Yeah, it's nice to see. He didn't get over to 200 until a couple days ago.
That's sad.
Listen, I think for Jackie, I think this is just the player he is. He's very Mark Bellhorn-esque. I think that's the right way.
Oh, man, I don't know.
He's so good sometimes, and other times he's awful.
Real bad.
But right now, it's hard to really stare away from him. When he's hot, he's
when
insane.
He's hot, he's good, for sure. When he's hot, he's one of the best center fielders in the game.
Yeah, he had a tough moment.
What was that hitting streak he had a few years ago? Was it last year?
Oh, it was something. It was, 19 games?
Something like that,
I think it was 19 games, yeah. I don't know. Overall, for this Red Sox team, I feel a good energy around him. You mentioned it earlier, the quote, Christian Vasquez.
Christian Vasquez, yep.
We're back.
We're back.
Listen,
we beat the Orioles 10 innings.
And you almost coughed up the lead in the last game. I don't think they're back. I don't think it's that simple. I think this series coming up against the Twins is what's going to define them. How they play, because they've been awful against every team above 500.
Yes.
It's nice to see you beat up on the Rangers, who are really right about where you are. They're overperforming.
The Orioles.
And the Orioles are the worst team in baseball.
Yes.
The same issues that plagued this team all season were there. You look at Eduardo Rodriguez, gave up an early lead. He did go 7 innings, and the Red Sox bats exploded, but who has a worse pitching staff than the Orioles? Nobody. They don't even have starting pitchers.
Nobody,
you know?
yeah.
I don't know. For this Red Sox team right now, it's nice to see the winning, but I don't think it's going to be a big change for the division or anything like that.
Big series ahead, though.
Yeah.
Today.
Now, looking at Michael Chavis, we talked about him last week. I mentioned Marco Hernandez being a candidate who could possibly replace him with some of the struggles he was going through. Proved me wrong the last week. Last 7 games, he's hitting 346, 414 with 2 jacks.
Finally, well, here's the thing with him. Obviously, he had that rough stretch. Was it 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
In the last 30 games, he's hitting 235.
Yeah, it was a rough stretch. Can he break out of that? I think he was starting to feel the pressure because he doesn't want to get demoted.
Dave Dombrowski came out in his little sit-down session he had this week and said that he had never thought about it. I don't agree. I don't believe that.
No
I
think
way.
he has to say that, though.
If you said, I thought about sending this guy down.
Yeah, it's going to destroy his confidence.
I don't understand how anyone used that as a way to measure his security on this team. And also, he's been playing first base this entire time. He's looked very good at first base. Made a couple diving plays. But once Mitch Moreland and Steve Pearce come back, I don't know. Is he still the guy you want starting at second base every day?
Well, Fernandez is going to hit this hot.
Yeah. He's been up and down. I'll give Marco Hernandez, the fair criticism. I think he's hitting 250 right now, something like that. But big home run yesterday in the 9th inning to keep the Red Sox from losing the game. The Orioles, I don't know if they don't have scouting reports. I don't know what the issue is.
Well, I think it's talent more than anything.
They were throwing hanging breaking balls, the exact pitch he slammed all this time.
I just think they suck, man. I don't think it has to do with scouting reports or anything. I just think it's talent.
How hard is it to throw a fastball up? They couldn't even do that. That's pretty embarrassing.
I've got a stat for you.
Go ahead.
It's so everyone remembers the 2014 Red Sox season.
Yeah.
That hellhole.
You like that, Tyler?
Yoenis Cespedes.
All right. So how many games did the Sox played this year? What, 73 roughly?
Yeah.
About that?
That sounds right.
So in 2014, the Red Sox were 73 games in. They were 34-39. Today, 73 games in, they are 39-34.
So I'm going to ask you this, Tyler. Is this Red Sox team now more similar to that 2014 team or 2018 team?
More similar to the 2018 team, and I'm not saying they are a lot like the 2018 team. I think the 2014
Or are they
team,
somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, that's probably the better way to put it. That 2014 team had so many 2013 players that overperformed out of their minds. John Lester was really the only saving grace for this team. Jake Peavy had taken steps back. Clay Buchholz was awful. Mike Napoli had turned to garbage. Steven Drew didn't sign till May, and he was garbage when he came here. Third base, Bogarts was up, and he wasn't very good.
So you think it's you're not buying that too much?
No. That 2014 team was just the reminiscence.
Could you see a situation where the Red Sox sell?
Yeah, Dave Dombrowski mentioned it in his sit down, and I don't like thinking about it because it really would completely derail everything the Red Sox have built the last couple of years. You'd likely see Mookie Betts gone. Besides that, a lot of the utility guys, Steve Pearce, Mitch Moreland would probably be gone.
Yep.
I don't think it's time to give up on this Red Sox team. I think there's still at least another year window.
You saying this year and next year, or just this year?
Next
this year
year.
And next year.
I just think they need to play better ball, and I don't know exactly what it is. I think part of it is Mookie Betts. I think the
extension controversy hanging over him.
Yeah, even during this period, he still hasn't been good while the rest of the team's been playing good. Who are the driving forces time and time again? Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts.
Yep.
They lead this lineup, and it's not even a conversation. On the pitching side of things, it's a mixture. It's Sale and Price for the most part.
Yep.
But I still think the staff is fine to get by.
Yeah.
The bullpen's going to be what kills them eventually.
Of course it has, and this shouldn't surprise anybody.
And Heath Hembry going down the other day.
Elbow.
They're saying it's 10 days. I don't believe this Red Sox staff ever when it comes to injuries. It never turns out to be what it actually is. And you're telling me he's right up there with Matt Barnes for usage. You're telling me an elbow issue is nothing to worry about? Forearm tightness?
Yes, yeah. And they need him. He's been right up there. I know the situations he hasn't been really pitching too much in high leverage spots.
Lately he has.
Well, lately, but earlier on in the year he wasn't.
Because you look, the fact that Heath Hembry's pitching like big leverage situations says enough.
Yeah.
They barely let him pitch the 7th last year. Dombrowski's approach from what he said really kind of put me in a bad spot. I didn't like what he was saying. Just basically being like, we don't know what we are yet. Are you kidding me? You don't know what you are? You saw last year what you can be.
Yes.
That should be enough for you to go and get that piece right now.
Yes.
You're a win now guy, Dave Dombrowski. You're going to sit here and tell me, we'll sell. If you start selling, yikes. Because your job is done. You're not going to be here.
Do you think they get to that point?
No, I think they're going to be there. They're technically in for a wild card right now. They're tied with the Texas Rangers, who started this win streak off. But the Rangers are an overperforming team. They're rated 500.
I don't think they're going to hold up.
No, they have no pitching staff.
And theoretically, you would think Sale's starting to get in a little rhythm now. Weather gets warmer, should help David Price's performances.
And he's been, he had one bad start.
Yeah.
A lot of people were ready to throw everything on him. We know he doesn't.
Evaldi, if he comes back.
Yeah, we know Price doesn't pitch well in most weather situations that aren't nice.
Well, my point is, it's getting warmer out.
Yeah, and you got Evaldi, who hasn't thrown again yet, so it looks like
you would guess he'd come back
mid-July.
Help for the bullpen is coming. It will.
Listen, Durbin Feltman has been dominating AA for well over a month now.
He's not even AAA yet?
No, they haven't called him up. So he's lost a couple ticks off his fastball. He's down to 94.
Is that concerning?
Not to me. As long as you're in that 94, 96 range, it don't matter. The velocity's there some days, some it's not. I think he's bored. I think he's down in a spot where the games aren't really competitive.
Could be it, yeah.
Our last closer, Craig Kimbrell, couldn't legitimately pitch great unless it was a competitive game most of the time. I think Feltman should be in this bullpen already, and I think Hernandez should be. Speaking of Darwinson, I said it last week on the show. He was going to have a horrible start, and he came up and he was awful.
He couldn't not find the strike zone whatsoever.
Through less than 50% of strikes, I don't understand how this team is even considering him as a starting pitcher anymore.
The options just are not there, I guess.
He just doesn't have enough control. And you saw those first 4 batters, they had no idea what was coming at them.
Yeah.
4 straight Ks weren't even competitive at bats. That's who he
struck
is.
out the side in the first.
Yeah. If you put him in a bullpen role, even if it's the 7th inning, he's going to dominate guys.
Do you think they're going to do that?
I think they should. I think eventually they're gonna. I think they're trying to feel it out right now. But you have Mike Schwarn, who for some reason Alex Cora loves him in the bullpen. Don't get me wrong. I think he has a bullpen arm probably long term. But
right now you could see him doing a spot start or two
over Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor,
you know, Josh Smith had pitched a game during that time. These are the guys who were Hector Velasquez, Brian Johnson just came back.
Yep.
How are any of them better than Schwarn? I would love to know.
Yeah, they need Eovaldi to come back
now. And the issue is, Dombrowski danced around it saying, it's just his biceps. He hasn't thrown. He has to rebuild his entire throwing program.
That's bad going forward.
We're talking about a guy who's had 2 Tommy Johns and now he has to restart a throwing program.
So update on the Red Sox. Velasquez returns from the IL. Brazier returns. Red Sox option Lakins and Smith. From
Beautiful.
Alex Spear, the Globe.
Blast them off to a different planet. Actually, I would take a no name for Brazier. I would take an empty roster spot.
And in other news, Josh McCown has announced retirement.
Oh, no.
Yes.
That actually makes me really sad. But I don't know. It's nice to see those guys back. I'm not expecting anything from Brazier.
No, me neither. But I mean, I have more confidence in him than Lakins and Smith.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say much.
Travis Lakins, unfortunately, all that prospect type, all that money they spent on him.
Not worth a dime.
Nope. He can't pitch in the big leagues. He's a mess out there.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling great about this Red Sox bullpen. They got 12 blown saves.
Yeah. And the people that try to deny it, it's just
think.
It's obvious.
If they converted 6 of those blown saves, Jason.
Yep.
They're 5.5 games out of first place.
Good spot to be in.
That would be just about first place, would it not?
Good spot to be in, yeah.
Imagine if they converted 10 of those. They'd
Even
be
better
in
spot.
first place and owning the division. So for those who want to pretend like what's happening with this roster, the bullpen itself is not the reason that they're struggling or their record is
it
what
really
it is.
It is. It's
the major
obvious,
factor.
Yeah.
You blow those blown saves, you were about to win the game.
Yeah.
Bad. Just bad situation. Dombrowski's comments are not
That
what I was
doesn't
hoping
even
for.
you're not even accounting for the blown games in like the 7th or 8th.
No. People want to say they're 7th in bullpen ERA. Yeah, they are. Congrats. It doesn't matter. If the bad innings are the 9th inning and the 8th inning,
yeah,
then that's all that matters.
Exactly.
It's great that you can get through the 5th, 6th, and the 7th. I just very disappointed in what he had to say. If this team did falter and they traded Mookie Betts, how would you feel about that?
So they would have to fall quite a bit.
They would have to be in probably
no man's land.
Yeah, 6 games.
I don't
back
believe
in the
they're going to
wild
get to
card.
that point. But if they did, that would show me that this team completely told Alex Cora to bleep off. And
there were people complaining about Mookie's hustle yesterday, about a ball hit into the corner. He didn't really hustle for it. It was a triple for Stevie Wilkerson, I believe, in the 8th inning.
Or how about the one with I know the one Brock Holt dived for, and he completely missed it.
And then he sat on the top of the
whatever
fence.
it was, he was stuck or whatever.
He said he thought the ball went out, and the ball just rolled.
I know. I don't think he saw it. Well, it took Betts a while to get to the freaking ball.
As much as I've hated on Brock Holt over the years, he's been playing good. I'll give him a pass. Mookie was just not even backing the ball up.
Exactly.
He was just chilling in center field.
Obviously, Holt failed to make the play. I don't think he had any idea what the hell was going on.
He crashed into the wall pretty hard.
He crashed into the wall, and the ball's just sitting there, and I'm like,
you're just watching it, and Hunter Pence is dipping full speed, blowing out everything in his body.
And then Betts is like, oh, maybe I should get that.
Mookie doesn't seem like the same, at least mentality-wise. And I know there's a lot of underlying stats that say he's going to break through, and he very well might be, but he's at least not the leader we thought he was.
No.
And I think that says enough. Xander Bogaerts leads this team.
Yeah.
Not even a conversation.
Him and Devers have led this team.
I think Devers had a hell of a series, man. You saw the over-the-shoulder catch he made the other day.
He's doing good defensively, hit that homer.
I can't. What he's going to become over the next couple of years is going to be a very, very scary thing.
And I think Dombrowski deserves credit from not getting rid of him in that sale deal.
It's not even a conversation about him moving off at third base at this point. He's become a good third baseman.
Yeah.
Can you
imagine if they stayed with Moncada and dealt Devers? Things might have changed.
Pretty good player though.
Who'd you rather have?
Devers
by far.
And I think everyone always said, like, as great as people want to talk about Moncada, he's the 5-tool guy who's always going to be a good player.
Devers is a great player.
The bat is just ridiculous. And if he looks like he's lost so much weight to me.
I think he still has some weight to lose.
A little bit, but compared.
Well, as he gets older and stuff, that'll certainly help.
He'll even out a little bit.
His baby fat.
Rafael Devers baby fat. I love it. This should be a Twitter account.
Sure it is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm Cora and the Red Sox, I hope you stay on the street because the next 3 days are going to determine who you are. Because the Yankees right now, they have gone out and showed you who they are.
Yes.
They just got Edwin Encarnacion for, honestly, nothing.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they gave him much.
One then.
He's a low-level minor, huh?
Yeah, so he was 27th ranked in the Yankee system, 17 with the Mariners.
So why did they just give him away?
They didn't really just give him away, or Encarnacion, you're saying?
Yes.
Mariners are rebuilding. I think it's
He couldn't have had a better offer?
He doesn't have a lot of versatility. You look at him, and he's also under control next year, so people have forgot about that. This isn't a rental. But a DH, he's on the older side of things.
The Red Sox killer.
Yes, that's why the Yankees got him. And people want to be like, oh, it shows the Yankees are scared. They're smart.
Yeah, I don't think they're scared.
The reason we got Steve Pearce is because he was great against the Yankees last year.
They're laughing at Boston right now.
Yeah, they're just adding. I can't imagine facing this lineup right now. I would be terrified.
And it's, you know what? Not even done yet. They're going to add another arm.
What a situation, huh? I hope
with them the favorites to win the World Series.
Yeah, right now. As long as they can go and get an ace, and if it's Stroman, if it's Bumgarner, any of those guys, Luis Severino's still on pace to be back this year. People also are not saying that. It's going to be later, but if he can come in, and even if it's out of the bullpen, whatever
Playoff
it may be,
push, yeah.
Dude, it's becoming very hard to see the Red Sox playing better than this
And
team.
they're at a point where they can kind of not rest Stanton and Judge, but they could slow the recovery down a little bit, kind of like take their time.
Stanton comes back tomorrow. We know that. And with their depth, with Gardner out there, and they have Hicks, they can move
Gardner's
pieces around.
He's going to be a bench piece now.
Yeah, you have the room. This team has flexibility. It has everything the Red Sox roster doesn't. Red Sox have one of the least flexible rosters in the entire MLB.
Yankees, they just sent Clint Frazier to AAA. How many teams would he be sent to AAA in that situation?
Not many. Very few.
Yeah.
Clint Frazier right now, he's putting up very similar numbers to Andrew Benintendi. Probably a little better.
So we think he's probably going to get dealt, but the point being is he was so impactful and so good this year, they had no room for him.
No, and he's going to be a great trade piece, and they have a whole bunch more in that farm
system. And you know what? Even when they deal him, it's not even a big deal.
Because they have Judge, who's going to be their right fielder for the next 10 years.
Andujar, who got hurt.
Yeah. It's all these names. People just don't realize the Yankees have so many assets. If I'm being honest, not directly with like Danny Ainge, but how he managed to get all those assets and just had them and was ready to move them. It feels like that's where the Yankees are.
Yeah.
They just have everything right now and going forward. Yeah. It's scary.
And I know a lot of people, the whole narrative with the Yankees is, they buy talent, this and that. Not this time. Not this team.
Look at who they're paying. They got Aaron Hicks on a pretty team-friendly contract. Stanton, a lot of his money's getting paid from
Who's
the
the highest paid guy? Is it Ellsbury?
Yeah.
Well, besides Stan.
It's besides Stan, of course, yeah. It's Ellsbury. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
And they told him to go home.
Yeah, basically.
What they tell Troy Tulowitzki? Basically, go home.
Yeah.
They have so many guys, it's just not funny. But yeah, overall, if I'm the Red Sox
Didi
right now,
also came back too.
Yeah. If I'm the Red Sox right now, you're at least 2 to 3 moves away, and you don't have the ability to make those moves. Do you think Encarnacion has a good moment against the Red Sox down the stretch here? I do.
I don't see why not.
I picture a walk-off home run in New Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can feel it.
Off who?
Oh, Brandon Workman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%. They'll have used Matt Barnes in like the 8th inning. Oh, Brandon Workman will walk out there and with his 92-mile-per-hour fastball.
So do you see the Yankees being the hardest matchup for the Red Sox in terms of a playoff series?
I think they're the hardest matchup for anybody.
Yeah.
If they end up, say they get Severino and another pitcher back, that rotation ends up becoming very solid. They still got Paxton.
Yep.
Paxton's there, and he's had a pretty good year. That's a rotation that's just hard. I'd still take the Red Sox rotation over them, but their bullpen and their lineup.
I think it depends who that other aces they get.
If it's Stroman,
I'll take the Red Sox.
Yeah. Even if it's Bumgarner, I take the Red Sox
in the postseason, though, Bumgarner scares me.
Not at this point with me.
You don't think so?
I think Bumgarner, as great as he was, I don't think he'll ever be what he was in San Francisco. And I think in today's landscape, what he did back in those years won't happen again when he was used like he was.
Can you imagine that?
I don't know. If I'm them, their bullpen's too good to let Bumgarner did what he did with the Giants.
That's true, too.
You know what I'm saying?
They need the starters to throw 5, 6.
Yeah.
And then get out of the way.
You know what? Actually, if Bumgarner does go there, I probably... Do I take him over Sale in the playoffs? I would right now. It's close. I call it a draw.
Yeah,
in that spot.
But you know what? A draw means it comes up to the bullpen.
Exactly.
Which favors the Yankees.
And we can't compete in that sense.
Sure, they can both throw 7 one-hit ball or whatever.
If I'm the Red Sox, I'm seeing Brad Hand. You want to come here? Someone who can do multi-inning things.
If I'm the Red Sox, you got to wait. Not wait per se, but you need to locate who is going to be the best reliever on the market.
Matt Barnes is dying right now.
Yes.
Dave Dombrowski, if you don't make a move, you're going to have an issue. Hembry's already hurt. Barnes, I wouldn't be surprised if something was wrong with him right now.
There might be.
You know, if he's pitching as bad as he has.
They're at a point where they need him to kind of tough it out.
Yeah, he's getting overexposed at the same time. If you Feltman, Hernandez, and let's throw Will Smith in, right? You add those three. Right now, I think you could throw Will Smith in the 9th, Matt Barnes in the 8th. I'd make Feltman
Hembry
my
in the
7th.
7th?
Or honestly, if Hembry's healthy, him and Feltman split 7th inning because we
Depending
know
on
Hembry's
matchups,
not that great. I believe with lefties.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, or he might have reverse splits. But you can mix and match there, and then Hernandez is your kind of one out. Let's see what you can pull out here.
Yep.
You know, stop trying to make guys who aren't meant to be starters. You know, if there was anyone you were gonna do that to, you know, and have them sit there and kind of develop, it was Shawaryn, and you said no. But right now, we got Judge and Stanton coming back. You think they have an immediate impact on them? The Yankees haven't been playing great lately. That's the reason the Red Sox have caught up.
Well, Stanton comes back tomorrow.
Yep. Judge probably by the end of the week.
Yeah, so the Yankees are in a good spot, I think.
I think Stanton's about to come up and go on a run.
Yeah,
like
he's been
a run.
tearing it up in AAA.
Yeah, the home runs he's been hitting day in and day out. Gosh, those Yankees fans are lucky this year. I tell you that much.
And not to mention that ballpark helps them immensely.
Yeah, it's a breeze. You lift a ball to left field or right field and it's out.
And that's going to be so benefit. Maybe that you could argue that's why Cashman's built the team the way he has.
Got to build around your ballpark. It can't hurt. The Giants did it for a long time. And look, they won 3 rings in the last decade.
Yep.
This week, 2 of the big stories in baseball: Shohei Ohtani and Jake Bauers both hit for the cycle. Listen,
does that mean that doesn't mean too much to me anymore?
Me either. It's a cool
when
thing.
Brock Holt hit for the cycle, that's when I kind of gave up on
that. It doesn't mean anything for me except for Ohtani. Yeah, Ohtani's a different kind of animal.
He's different. Obviously, can't pitch this year, but
the fact that he's this good of a hitter, though,
yes.
Like, are you kidding me? Just to pull up his stat line real quick, I'm pretty sure he's hitting like 280 right now. He's become arguably one of the best players in all of baseball. It's not really a conversation.
He isn't even pitching it.
No, 278, 351 with 8 jacks in 34 games. Let's just triple that.
How often does he play?
Just about every day in the DH row. You triple that out, he's going to hit about 280 with 24 jacks in 90 games.
That's crazy, yeah.
And he pitched to a 3.5 ERA last year.
It's crazy.
He's the best baseball player in the
MLB. Are you
MLB.
worried about his arm holding up?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
He threw a lot of pitches when he was young. I remember, I think it was 2016 when I graduated high school, he threw like 200 pitches in 2 days or something like that.
Yeah, I'm worried about him.
I do think, as a pure baseball player, he's the best baseball player in the MLB.
He's awesome.
I'm going to stick by that. Jason, what do you think?
I don't think he is, but I know you do.
At playing baseball, he is
I know
the
he
best.
can pitch and catch. I pitched, whatever. I know.
Could Mike Trout pitch to a 3.5 ERA?
He hasn't tried.
Mike Trout is the best hitter.
Yes.
Best overall player.
Yes.
But best at playing baseball? Shohei Ohtani.
I guess he doesn't have much competition at that point.
Right?
It's just him and Babe Ruth.
There's a couple guys coming up. That two-way thing is becoming huge.
Is it?
In the next 5 years, you're going to probably see 4 to 5 guys in the MLB.
Yeah.
You remember JB Shuck? He was with the Angels for a bit. He's with I believe the Pirates right now, learning to pitch and play at the same time. And he's in AAA.
Can Trey Ball do it?
No.
Oh.
He hasn't even had an at-bat this year.
Damn.
He hasn't pitched either.
Damn.
But it's pretty sad.
What does he do then?
Nothing. I think he might have gone down with Lowell. I'm not 100% sure because he needs to learn how to hit.
So what is it?
It's
When he's
gone.
gonna learn how to hit?
He doesn't know how to hit. He hasn't hit since high
Why
school.
don't they let him pitch?
Because he sucks. It's a rough life out here, huh?
I guess so.
Shout out Trey Ball. We could have had Austin Meadows. Joe Mauer. A lot of people are talking about him this week. He had his number retired by the Twins.
Yep.
Is he a Hall of Famer to you?
So I like Joe Mauer a lot.
Me
he was
too.
a great catcher. You could argue he's probably second best in the generation behind Buster Posey.
I agree.
Does that make him a Hall of Famer? He's close. I'd have to.
Would you like me to
Take
give
it.
you his line?
Sure, give it to me.
306, 388, 439 for his career.
Yep.
143 home runs.
That's all he had, huh?
Yeah. So,
Really?
unfortunately, people don't realize he had 120 home run season ever. And it was in 2009, his
I didn't
MVP
know that.
year. I think part of it was, so in 2010, if I recall, they moved to the new Twins ballpark, right? Once he got there, the power hopes were gone. He never hit for a ton of power before at the old Twins park, but I think he was adjusting to it.
Do you think he is? I think he's borderline. I'm going to say no right now.
he's one of those guys where it's like, is the peak itself good enough, right?
Yep.
He made 6 All-Star teams. He has 3 Gold Gloves, an MVP, and 4 Silver Sluggers. 5. I would say Hall of very good. He did have, you got to remember, he got destroyed by concussions.
He did.
It was him and Justin Morneau.
Yeah, Morneau. Yep.
Dude, Morneau.
He also got destroyed by concussions, I think.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Dude, he had like seeing issues.
Yeah.
I remember Maurer talked. He was at the plate and he would see spots.
Again, then they moved him to first base a little bit.
Yep, because he couldn't take the beating behind the plate anymore. He only played till he was 35.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
Great player. Well, great player, not a Hall of Fame player is the best way to put it.
I think it was a Hall of Fame peak, just not, he doesn't have
So
the
you think Buster
longevity
Posey over him?
on any day of the week. Buster Posey's one of the best catchers of all time.
He's the Hall of Fame catcher from the generation.
All right, we'll take a break here. And when we come back, we got some Patriots news. See who's breaking the rules against the Patriots right now. For once, us Patriots fans are going to get to put the handcuffs on
Damn
someone.
right.
But you're not going to want to go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
Thank you for listening to Pombo and Milliken on YouTube. Don't forget, every episode airs live on the WMLN app. Just search WMLN in your Apple or Google Play Store.
All right, last half hour of Pombo and Milliken here. We got a little football stuff before we wrap it up for the day. Jason, you want to break down this new tampering situation going on with the Patriots and Texans?
So, for once, the Patriots are not accused of cheating. It is now the Houston Texans.
The handcuffs are on the other hand.
That one didn't fit, but that was fun.
What? No?
The handcuffs are on the other hand. Handcuffs cuff both your hands.
Okay, Jason. Listen, did that not make sense, really? Was that bad?
Jay, did you get it?
Well,
that was that bad? You didn't get it, Brophy, or did you get it? All right, let's move on, please.
So,
handcuffs, you put handcuffs, they're on the other hand. Instead of being on me, they're on you this time.
Oh, okay. We said, well, how about other person? Other person.
I get it.
Okay.
Screw you guys. You guys are jerks.
Nick Caserio of the New England Patriots. His exact title with the New England Patriots is, so it changes frequently. He's the director of player personnel. Caserio has been with the Patriots since 2001. Started off as a personal assistant. He actually was an offensive coaching assistant in 2002. He coached receivers in 2007. He's been all over the field, in and out.
He's become one of those fixtures throughout the whole dynasty.
He is Bill Belichick's right-hand man. He has a lot of things to do during the draft and is a big name. So, the Houston Texans fired the GM a week or two ago, and they tried to get an interview with Nick Caserio, but Bill Belichick has filed a tampering charge towards them. So, this all reportedly started off at the Patriots ring ceremony back.
Supposed to be a fun time.
Supposed to be not a business time, for fun. So, Jack Easterby used to be the Patriots character coach for the long time. Is in the Houston Texans organization now, and he was accused of tampering with Nick Caserio at the ring ceremony. So the Patriots believe that Easterby should not have talked about the Texans GM job and this and that, and he believes it was unjust and unjustified. So Caserio will stay with the Patriots for at least this year. But going forward, his future is unknown, but the Texans might have to give him a draft pick.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of talk. Some people are, thinking the punishment's going to be, at one spectrum or the other. I think the Texans are definitely going to get a slap on the wrist here, but no one has taken penalties like the Patriots, and unfortunately, teams outside of the Patriots don't usually get the steep penalties we tend to face. I think it's probably going to be something later in the draft. I could imagine a draft pick because I think the Patriots are going to push heavy on this because, we've seen how hard the NFL has gone after them at different times. It's just slimy move. It's just stupid. It's what are you doing? Jack Easterby, listen, you were part of this Patriots organization. You know how things operate. If anyone should know how to conduct yourself, it's something like that. It should be you. Really no excuses. You've earned this one. Texans dysfunction just continues on. So
Caserio gets paid roughly $2 million a year, and his contract ends after the 2020 NFL draft.
Yeah. And he's obviously been a huge part in a lot of the drafts.
I think he's a must. Give him a promotion, something they need him.
Yeah. I think this just speaks to more of the issues on the Texans side of things. They're grabbing at anything that looks successful.
Yeah. He's only getting paid $2 million. Other GMs, I'm looking at right now. The Jets just gave Joe Douglas $3 million. John Snyder of the Seahawks gets paid $3.37 million. So I think Caserio deserves a pay raise.
Yeah, this is what happens when you let a guy who handles character start running your organization and trying to make moves for you.
And Jack Easterby.
Yes. On the other side of things, Sony Michel, our boy Jason Pombo.
Yes.
we know how much you've loved him, but Patriots Nation fell in love with him this year. Despite the injuries, he still played a huge part in the postseason.
I felt like it was
run.
a good pick at the time, and I still do. Granted, his future is uncertain with the knee injuries, but if they limit him enough, and he's not going to play 16 games a year, but if they can limit him to 10 to 12 games a year and deal with James White, Rex Burkhead, and Damian Harris, they'll be able to get by.
Yeah, and for people who don't realize, this story hasn't got much attention, but he got his knee scoped. That's why he hasn't been at any of the practices.
OTAs, yep.
But with Sony Michel, I think what people don't realize, even when he was back at Georgia, he never carried the load on his own. I think people...
Yeah, he split it with Chubb.
Yeah, people know his kind of body frame. He's not meant to go full 16 games, full workload. Damian Harris isn't a much different back than Sony Michel. They're kind of similar. If anything here, Bill Belichick has found another guy, similar pedigree, and he can split those carries and keep both fresh. You'd rather have two guys fresh than one who goes down and completely disrupts the running game.
So I wouldn't panic on Michel yet, but I wouldn't expect to see him much in preseason, if at all.
Instead of taking 3 out of 3 carries, Sony Michel will get 2 and Harris will get 1.
Yeah.
That's the idea moving forward. Could it be more for Harris if Michel can't get it together? Yeah.
So then the key is who is going to be out in the Patriots running back arsenal, and it could be Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, I think it's him. We saw the Patriots move away from him towards the end of last season, too.
But the thing is, Bill Belichick values special teams quite a bit, and Rex Burkhead is a big special teams guy. But they just re-signed Brandon Bolden.
Yeah. And what pushes me back is Burkhead's injury issues over the past couple of years. He's missed significant time.
I don't think they cut him. I think they trade him.
I agree. There's another team that will take on Rex Burkhead because people still think there's a ceiling that hasn't been reached. Even the one that we had dreamt about here. But as a versatile player like that, special teams, can catch the ball out of the backfield, obviously can rush a little bit too. He'll do plenty well for someone else. It just doesn't work here. The Patriots were supposed to have a trade go through this week.
Yes, for tight end.
Michael Roberts from Detroit. It was for a conditional 7th-round pick. Roberts ends up failing his physical, and Detroit releases him. Overall, you too upset about this?
No, Michael Roberts, he's not a Gronk replacement by any means. He's a Dwayne Allen replacement. He's a blocker. So you still have some guys to work with here. Ben Watson's still there. Obviously, Spharian Jenkins is not there. Steven Anderson you still have. You have Matt Lacoste.
Lacoste, according to a lot of reports, he was getting most of the reps with the first team. They were really liking how he was looking, running some routes and catching some passes.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think with Roberts also, a lot of his issues in the NFC North last year, he was getting run over by teams. And as much as people wanted to categorize him as a blocking tight end, he could block. He just wasn't very good at it. It was more hoping you could teach him up to be a good blocker.
Yeah.
But Patriots really don't lose too much. It just shows they're looking for depth right now. On the other side with the Lions, we're going to have some joint practices with them before our first
in Detroit,
game.
Unfortunately, in Detroit.
Yeah, I know. But the Patriots connection continues.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
Belichick, Patricia. Hey, if it was in New England, I'd be there. If it was in Foxborough, I'd be there.
We'll see how that rivalry breeds after what the Lions did to them last year.
Yeah, for sure. I like the joint practices. They're cool. The Patriots did one with Jacksonville 2 years ago. That was cool.
They've done them with Philly a lot over time.
Philly over time.
I saw one of those back
I think
in
they
the
did
day.
Washington a few years ago.
Yep. But it'll be a fun training camp, coming into the season as usual. Can't hurt. At least you're practicing against a guy like Matt Patricia who's going to challenge you, And some bad news, Broncos owner Pat Bowlen died.
Yes.
Earlier last week.
Did he have Alzheimer's or something?
Yeah. Really bad.
Was he still... he wasn't running the team, was he? No.
I believe he had passed it down to his child.
His son or his wife or something.
Yeah, and they were kind of running things from that point forward. He, very young, 75 years old, unfortunately, and it just got to him over the years. But his legacy in Denver...
he helped build the NFL in terms of with John Elway being there, drafting him back in the 90s.
Part of countless committees.
Yep.
He had a very huge standing in this league. And for a couple of years, we've known the health was in a decline. It's just sad because dating from Peyton, even years back before that, he has the rings. He's done his thing throughout his career.
Denver is a franchise that has no shortage of championships.
Exactly. One of the most respectable front offices / ownership in the entire league. Hard Knocks. Jason, I know you're a huge fan of Hard Knocks.
I love Hard Knocks.
You're always starving for it when it comes every year. Raiders got picked to do Hard Knocks, and
that makes it even better.
A perfect fit.
Yes. Why? John Gruden, clown. Mike Mayock, clown.
2 TV guys.
Richie Incognito,
clown.
Antonio Brown. Who's the other one I'm missing? There's another big one that I'm going to enjoy seeing.
Who are you thinking of? What position?
I thought they had one more that was going to be worth it. Oh, Vontaze Burfict.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Mr. basically hurt people.
Yes.
Yeah, listen, I don't think this is a good it's a good money idea. It's awful for the Raiders because they're going to have dysfunction immediately.
Yep.
I can imagine the first episode ends with Antonio Brown not being happy, storms out of a meeting.
He's going to want the cameras to be on him at all times. It's gonna be
100%.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
If I were an NFL GM or coach, I would not want to be on Hard
You're going to
Knocks.
see Richie Incognito bullying Derek Carr.
Oh, I want to see him fight Vontaze Perfect.
It's going to be a situation. I don't know what they're doing. Truthfully, the Raiders are like, if we suck, but why as well make $1.
Yes.
What are they going to Las Vegas?
Yeah.
The year after.
Yep.
Oh, imagine if the whole thing was in Las Vegas too.
God.
So the whole thing they're saying is the last year in Oakland, so they're going to
Oh, okay.
Honor it.
Okay.
honor it. Yeah.
Stay on brand.
Yeah.
You know what your brand is? Trash.
Bring your pit bulls and show up to the stadium. We're in Oakland, baby.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with this Raiders team, but at least
they're screwed.
They're making it fun.
I will go to Vegas and watch them, though, eventually.
There we go.
I had so much faith in this team when they got to right before Derek Carr broke his leg.
Yeah.
I had so much faith, and I thought they were going to be a contender for
Carr
like
looks
2 or
like
3
he was
years.
About to win an MVP?
Yeah,
he
was a
did.
solid QB for that year.
Yeah.
He was great.
I still think Derek Carr can be a solid QB, just not in this
The clowns
dysfunction.
around him. We'll
Too
see.
much. It's too much at this point.
Too much.
In other news, Dak Prescott. Looks like he's about to get that
Yep,
extension.
gonna
It's
get it.
coming right after the Carson Wentz talk.
He's going to get it before Zeke.
They're saying $34 million.
I don't think it's going to be that high.
I told you that Carson Wentz extension was going to shake this up.
I don't think it's going to be that high.
I think it should be close.
I'm going to go with 30.
As long as it's in the ballpark, it shows the Carson Wentz effect.
Yeah.
You can't pay him less than him. You can't. Or that's going to be an automatic issue.
If he does get paid less than them, I think it's going to be to help Zeke. I think he's going to want to be a team guy.
That would be the only way to put it. And him and Zeke have always kind of came as the duo because they came up
They're
together.
going to pay Amari Cooper, too.
Yeah, gosh, a lot of money to spend, and I wouldn't spend that money on Amari Cooper
And
personally.
you still have 2 young linebackers who will be up in 2 or 3 years, too. And what's his name? Jalen Smith.
Yep.
And what's the kid from Boise State?
Van Esch? No, I can't. I'm not going to try to say it. Van Esk? No. Mm-mm.
No.
Not going to try. We are awful with names.
Hang on.
Van what? Let's pull it
It's
up.
Van something.
Pick what?
Van Der Esk.
We were close. Jeez. Neither of us know how to spell or talk. But
VANDERESCH.
Get the hell out of here. Excuse me?
Van Der Esk.
What? But obviously his impact last year played a huge part in the Cowboys being as competitive they were in that new shape defense.
Yep.
A lot of money that needs to be spent. And this Cowboys front office is cheap these days. They do not like handing money out. So I think they're going to have their own situations going on. All right, Jays. Oh, wait. No, hold up. We have arguably the 2 most important things from the show.
Oh, okay. Which would you rather lead off with? The Bruins or my struggles?
I'll tell you what. Let's end on your struggles because I think that's the bigger story.
Yes. All right, Ben. So the Bruins ended up losing Game 7. What was the score, boys?
4-1.
4-1.
My life is over as we know it.
Yeah, it was pretty early. A lot of people said that you could tell they were going to lose.
Yeah, pretty much by the end of the first period, it was destined. I mean, you could just see they didn't come to play. Rask, he didn't get tested early. Bennington did. I mean, we controlled that game for the first 2 periods, without a doubt. We played better up until that 3rd period, and then we just gave up pretty much. It's unfortunate because I think if the game had been switched around, if the Bruins hadn't dominated, I think in the beginning, I think Rask would have gotten tested early. I think he would have found his groove and made those stops. He didn't. A lot of people are... I've heard the comparison a couple times that Rask is the Bruins' David Price. Ooh. And can't pull it up in big games. But throughout the playoffs, every single Game 7, every elimination game, they won. I mean, up until Game 7 of the Cup final. I think he's not in the top 5 for blame, but obviously the first line. Huge issues there.
That's the big story. Yeah.
Krejci was a playmaker the whole time, but that line couldn't find a groove. You had the 3rd and 4th line, and his guys got taken out and put in. I think that really didn't show. Everyone had the heart, but it didn't show the uncertainty I think a lot of guys had of whether or not they were gonna play. And I think by the end of the playoffs, that caught up with them. And I think, Rask is still partly to blame. He didn't stand on his head when he needed to at the end of the day.
Yeah. I saw that a lot of people, I know the Bruins got off to a hot start out shooting them like crazy.
Oh, it was insane.
They just called it
Bennington was on his head, man.
Yeah.
He's a rookie?
Yeah, that's crazy.
5 or 6, like in the first 2 periods, 5 or 6
and
of
their
those stops
coach
were
is
insane.
an interim head coach.
They were in last place in December, right?
And then they won the
worst record in the NHL.
Worst record in the NHL.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. There was a fight in between 2 of their players in one of their practices at the beginning of the season. season.
Wow. It goes to show, though, hockey, you can fire a coach and catch a hot streak like anybody.
Coaches
other.
are dime a dozen.
Yeah,
that's
no. It's not that many coaches stay long term, and you
Not
can
at
get
all.
booted out, and a team can be a completely different team the next day.
Think of the Bruins with Claude Julien.
Yeah,
we got
Bruce
rid of Claude
Cassidy.
Julien.
Yeah.
Bruce Cassidy came in, and immediately we were a playoff
so
team again.
if I got a big blame pie here,
Go ahead.
first line takes most of it.
Most of it.
I think Tuukka deserves some. Obviously, Binnington outplayed him.
Yep.
But Tuukka Rask played awesome this whole series, whole playoff run.
You know, I've never seen
People
him
forget
like
they
that.
were down 3-2 earlier in the round 1, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I, you know, you look back at the Toronto series. You look back at who did we play in the second round?
Oh, it was Carolina, wasn't it?
No, Carolina was the
Columbus.
Columbus. You look back at the Columbus series. You look back at the Toronto series, and you really see him just shine. I mean, you know, on every sports reporter out there was saying we've never seen him like this. He's on a tear, and he was. He was absolutely part of the reason that we got the biggest reason we got to the finals, especially that first line after the first series. They just didn't produce, and about halfway through the Columbus series.
Are you done with Krejci?
Oh man, it's tough. The thing about Krejci is he's an awesome playmaker, but there's some times where he just needs to shoot the stupid puck.
Yeah.
Like he just needs to shoot it, and he doesn't. He's getting old. He's been with us for so long. If you can get a decent deal done, I think it's time.
So
But,
you're
you
not
know,
committed to this that old core that was still there because you have the younger side still coming up.
Well, I think Bruce Cassidy's so good with the young guys, and especially he coached a lot of these guys in Providence,
Yeah.
and had met them earlier when they first joined and first were drafted. So I think a younger team with Bruce Cassidy is never a bad thing, and I think we saw that this year with how many of the young guys stepped up.
Yeah. Did you see the video of Brad Marchand partying?
I was just going to say that,
Yeah.
Ben.
Oh, I
How do you
didn't see
feel
it.
about that?
He was
So,
turning up in the club. Like
there was a
having
bunch
good time.
of.
When
all
was
the-
it?
This was 2 or 3 days ago. All the Bruins had a post-game party, and they were all out drinking with champagne and all that, having a good time. How do you feel about that?
Marchand was on his Alexander Ovechkin.
After
goggles, everything.
After they've all been dealing with these quote-unquote injuries, toughing it out, this and that.
People said that locker room was the saddest locker room they ever saw after
Yeah,
a loss.
couldn't have been that.
Elimination.
Couldn't have been that sad.
sad,
2 or 3 days
right?
later.
Well, 2 or 3 days later, I guess it's
Brophy,
still
tell you what,
drowning.
you came in here, and then we mentioned the Bruins to you, and you're like, "Oh crap, I haven't thought about it in 4 days. You
Like
just
you
ruined my
blocked it
day."
out,
Yeah.
you
Now
know?
these guys are out here partying 3 or 4 days later. How do you feel
That's
about
ridiculous. I mean, look,
You don't like that,
You
do you?
just lost the Stanley Cup final, and guess what? It's the second one you've lost since you've been able to get to it.
that? You know how much money you cost people?
Yeah, you cost the city another. This championship drought has gone on too long. Boston deserves better. 4 months.
Think about it this way: the Bruins will never have an easier path to Stanley Cup ever, ever. They
Yeah, you're
avoided Crosby, the Capitals. They avoided San Jose, who was a tougher matchup. Who was it? Calgary in the West. It was really
Yeah.
good.
They avoided Nashville, who was a sleeper team.
Yep.
I think the wild card chaos squad
Winnipeg.
really threw this playoffs through a little. It was insane.
Yeah,
and
I
this
don't
was
like
our
that.
chance.
Because tell you what, if the Patriots lost the Super Bowl against Philadelphia, and I saw Brady, Gronk, and Edelman.
That's a hard one because Gronk was partying.
Well, tell you what, Gronk's,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah, but we expect that from
Gronk's a
Gronk.
bad Gronk's a bad example.
And
Gronk's a bad
I think
example.
if you're going to hold it all any player, you have to hold it to all players. They're all on that team. It doesn't matter who you are.
Either way.
If you're, I agree with the
champagne
idea.
in the full 9 yards?
I agree. I had an issue when Gronk did it. That's why.
I'm cool after. If you want to go out and party, fine, do it. Don't be sitting there drinking champagne, living it up like you just won the damn
Yeah.
cup.
Like it looked like they won. Like the way
Gronk
he
was
was
just at the
partying.
club with the shirt on. He
Yeah.
didn't have champagne or any of that crap.
Like they were spraying
Okay, so Gronk-
Marchand
yeah.
with the champagne.
That's
Bad luck.
not even bad luck. That's just dumb.
Yeah.
You're being an idiot.
It's a bad look for your fans.
That too.
Rough spot. I feel bad because honestly, for Bruins fans, like they're a different kind of group. You know what I mean? They are truly diehard hockey, and like
Yeah.
you see a lot of fair weather fans with the Patriots
Yeah.
and the Red Sox here. It's very common. Those Bruins fans, the people who care about them, are true diehards.
I think a lot of green teamers are a lot of the same way.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of where the green team are nicknamed for the Celtics. It goes
I agree
right
with
next
you.
to each
Yeah.
other. Yeah, tough spot.
I don't know why we keep doing this as Bruins fans.
No, from one heartbreak to another, Jason Pombo.
Yep.
All right, my heartbreak was a little different. I didn't go out champagne drinking after. So, update on my little baseball team here. We are through 7 games. We're 3-1. Update on last week. Monday and Wednesday, we took care of business.
Good
we
day.
won
Nice.
5-3 and 7-5.
There you go.
So Friday we play the best team in the league, and I'm going in there. I'm ready.
Oh,
Ready, feel
what
cool.
you want?
And they
Ooh.
kicked my ass. We lost 10-0.
Oh, You guys weren't at full strength.
We were not at full strength. We were missing 3 of our top 5 players.
Oh, not a real loss.
Wait.
And I felt like the umpires were very.
They might have been paid.
I'll tell you what, Tyler.
Yeah.
They weren't paid.
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa, talk to it, Jason.
We're paid.
Wow.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I was told from a source
yeah.
that they might not have been paid for that game because it was that atrocious.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been. Jason, do you want to tell them what happened?
Yeah, all right. So run around third here, right? We're down 8-0. We're getting our ass kicked at this point.
Right. But the Berkeley Cubs don't give up.
We don't give up.
That's who they are.
I try to rally the troops no matter what. So, their guy is rounding third base, about to score, and the batter on deck for the other team grabs the bat, blocks my catcher's view so he can't see. So that should be an interference on the other team.
Yep.
So he gets out of the way, the ball hits the dirt and hits my catcher in the head. So I was fuming. I was flipping out. I was like,
I'm sure.
This is crap. Are you kidding me? You're going to get my player hurt? That's crap. And then, it was just awful. I was very upset. Very upset.
I don't blame you.
But we play that team on Friday again, so we'll be ready.
Yes.
You're gonna have your top 3.
From what I've gained from knowledge so far, yeah, we should be full strength.
We'll see how full strength.
I got
game
faith
goes.
in the Berkeley Cubs. 3-3-1.
3-3-1. We play tonight.
Could be worse.
About to be 4-3-1.
Damn right.
As long as it doesn't rain, right?
We should be good on the weather.
Okay.
All
so
right.
if you want to go attend the game, I'm not going to give the location.
It's in Freetown.
Oh, there you go. That's a good way to do it. You can drive around until you find it.
Good luck.
One last thing before we end the show. The Warriors took out a full-page ad in the Toronto Sun today congratulating the Raptors.
Yes, classy.
Best way. That's how a dynasty.
Tell you why they did it. I'll tell you why they did it.
Go for it.
It's because of the minority owner.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You're 100% right. That is why. Remember Kyle Lowry, the whole situation with him getting pushed?
Oh, yep.
They got to gain PR.
Yeah. That's
got to start somewhere.
Got to
start somewhere.
Legitimately, Adam Schefter just tweeted class at them.
That's exactly what it is.
See, I have a hard. I get why they had to do it. But when teams just do it to do it,
yeah.
it's like, give me a break.
Yeah.
You can.
I wouldn't do it.
Congratulating the team that just kicked your ass.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. But
we might have some news going, Jason Pombo.
Just
you want to read this out?
Breaking news sounder?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not. After Brooklyn declines to make a qualifying offer to Hollis Jefferson, he's going to become an unrestricted free agent. He's 24, defends multiple positions well, and Nets have $46 million in cap space. So that is 2 max free agents. Not a surprise. We knew that going in.
Exactly. So, who knows? They're hoping to get someone to join Kyrie. Who that is, I don't know who Kyrie's really going to attract. I don't think there's a long list of guys who want to play with Kyrie at this point.
Well, there was 3. Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, and then the third, it could be LeBron.
I think Kevin Durant can be the kind of muddied water there because if he truly wanted to go play with them, he could.
I told you, I think the whole thing was they were going to go to the Knicks really quickly. Durant got cold feet. Kyrie's like, bleep you, I'm not going alone.
Yeah, it's hard to commit to going with Kyrie. I think with LeBron, it's a different situation because Kyrie's about to be a little brother again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think Kyrie would give too much. He's not going to do that.
Agreed. Kyrie wants to run his own show. And even with the Anthony Davis stuff, I don't think Anthony Davis was ever too thrilled with the idea either. I think they're friends. I just think no matter what, everyone knows playing with Kyrie is not the easiest thing.
Yeah.
And that's something that stays in people's head. Because I do think KD tried to talk himself into it.
Could be, yeah.
All right, that's it for Pombo and Milliken this week. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Fortunately, we have fixed our technical issues.
Yes.
So over the next couple days, we'll have the last 3 episodes of Pombo and Milliken, including today, uploaded.
So we're probably going to go in order from old to new. I'm probably going to get, I think we have to start on the 520 was the last episode.
That sounds right.
So we're going to get 3 or 4 episodes, and we're going to do daily uploads, hopefully.
So there you go. So if you want to get some content, hear us, whether we were right or wrong over the past month, you can tune in there. Otherwise, you can catch me and Jason on Twitter.
Before you end, Berkeley Cubs win Friday 9-8.
Oh,
that's your call, 9-8?
9-8.
What's
high-scoring game, man.
9-8.
I like that. We're staying positive. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into Pombo Milliken. Please pray for the Berkeley Cubs. Hopefully in 2 weeks when we come back, we have a good update. We'll catch you all later.
Thank you for listening to Pombo and Milliken on YouTube. Don't forget, every episode airs live on the WMLN app. Just search WMLN in your Apple or Google Play Store.